when I first got started, it was tough. I was in real estate. I was equity rich, cash poor, like most real estate investors. I was buying a ton of single family homes. And, I didn't have the cash flow. So there were some months where I was diving in it and swimming in it. And then there were some months where, I needed money to pay bills. And so I knew there had to be another way. And that's when I got into business acquisitions, and all thanks to Kyle. I was sitting in my hot tub during COVID. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I was DMing him in my hot tub saying, hey man, tell me about this business acquisition thing, and he laid it all out for me, and him and I kept going back and forth for weeks and days. And I had no fear at that time. And I dove in head first and bought my first acquisition in Orlando, Florida, and right during the middle of COVID.
Where did you find Kyle? Like you knew he'd be like, where did that come from?
Yeah, so I just saw a social media post. I actually don't even know how I found him, but it was through Facebook, and saw a social media post. And I'm just aggressive at the time, and I wanted an answer, and I sent him a DM, and he replied right back. I think this was right before he was jumping into the coaching space, and so I think I got him right before he kind of blew up, and so it was great because I mean the attention that I got from him at the time was incredible, was impeccable. And now I see what he's doing with all his students, and he's definitely delivering because these people are having tremendous amounts of success.
And he still does a lot of zone DMing. Don't DM him. I'm saying though, he's very engaged and very part of this process.
He is. I mean, him and I text and call each other on the regular, and we stay in touch, and I'm filling him in on my deals, and we're asking personal things and all that. And he's a really all around genuine guy, and really does care about his friends and his students.
And they all kind of become like friends and family. It's like a family reunion when you show up here.
Absolutely.
Talk to me a little bit, because you were doing exactly what you're supposed to do in terms of wealth building. I mean, there's a lot of people that have no idea what to do with wealth building.
Yeah.
But once you do get a little engaged in it, real estate's supposed to be the thing.
Yeah, look, I'll tell you this. I did. I followed the status quo. Right. I went to school. I got married young. I had kids. Had a 401k. I started investing. I started a business. I did everything I was supposed to do, or what society was brainwashing me to do, and was still feeling unfulfilled and still not feeling like I was doing it right. So what did I do? Cashed in my 401k. I decided to start acquiring companies. I started, getting out of real estate, buying and becoming more of a real estate lender, and then also buying more businesses. So I kind of really flipped it on its head over the past, I would say, 5 or 6 years. And the past 5 or 6 years have been the best years of my life. And, it's because of the pivot that I made. I wasn't happy. I wasn't, happy with what I was doing. I wasn't motivated and feeling good about where I was heading. And now with business acquisitions and M&A, and it's just, I'm just alive again, so it's great.
And this all kind of started during COVID, though, this transition.
It did. So, yeah, right during COVID, it all started with that first acquisition in Orlando, Florida. Again, I remember the seat that I sat in to buy that company. It was at the Waldorf Astoria in Orlando, in the little bar area, and I have a picture of it. And the crazy thing is that I bought my second. That was an NEMT deal. I bought my second NEMT deal at in November of 2023, just recently, at the same spot, at the same hotel. It was like serendipitous, and I did that for a reason, because the first one was so successful. I was like, I'm going to keep the karma and keep the juju, and let's do it in the same spot. And sure enough, thank God, it's actually paid off very well. So
that sounds like a hyper process. Like there's a process here to follow, but you got it even tighter than that, don't you?
We drill it down. Absolutely. So, and now, look, I never imagined where I would be today, as far as how big our companies have grown, and, the amount of companies we've acquired since then. We now have our own holding company. We have a C-suite. We have CEO, CFO, COO. They manage the entities that we have. And that has allowed me to grow and raise capital and find more acquisitions, find more deals. And, I never would have thought I'd be in this position where I am now today. And, obviously I credit Kyle for all of it. So,
and I've heard several of you talk about it's like a potato chip. Can't eat one of these things. And once you get it, you got hooked, right?
You do get hooked. It's almost like, you know, it's my addiction, right? You know, I mean, people have other addictions and other vices. This is my vice, you know, believe it or not, you know? So, I love doing deals. I love deal flow. I love looking at deals. It's the first thing I think about when I wake up, last thing I think about when I go to bed. And, it's probably everything I think about during the middle of the day. So, but yeah, so I love the M&A space. I love, business acquisitions. And, you know, again, my world has definitely changed for the better coming from the real estate side.
Talk to me about growing up. Was money something that was discussed? Was something that wasn't discussed? Was there a lot of it? Was there none of it? What was it like?
Yeah, money growing up. Parents were both W-2 workers. You know, I saw my dad bust his ass for a very long time. He worked a government job. You know, what's crazy part is I remember looking at his tax return. I was probably 17 years old. And I remember looking at his tax return that he got at the end of the year, and it showed his wages and compensation. I think it said $75,000, and he was retired. And I was like, at the time, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to live on $75,000. Like, how does somebody live on $75,000? And that just like, you know, that woke me up at a young age. And, you know, so I tell people, you know, a lot of the time when they ask me about my parents and whatnot, you know, my dad's a great guy. I don't really talk to my mom, but, you know, I was taught what not to do. I saw a lot of the things that they could have did differently because they were just too scared. Like they were so fearful of taking risks. And I don't know if that was that generation. You know, that generation was just, you know, they were locked in on like, you know, their job and staying close to, you know, home and getting their house and keeping the homestead intact and that safety and security net. Maybe this, you know, our generation and generations now going forward. I don't know about going forward. That's a whole nother topic for another day. But I feel like our generation, there's a lot of risk takers, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people that want more out of life. And, you know, I think I'm living proof of that, at least for, you know, my family, you know, tree. So. Yeah.
And that was probably back when $75,000 was a good amount of money.
Yeah.
I looked recently, they said $100K back when we were kids. So for our parents, that generation, that's like $300 today, or at least $250,000 today. Yeah. So I mean, but that just, I guess what I'm getting at is like the mindset, right? Even my mindset then was like 75 wasn't enough. So I was always thinking bigger. And you know, I was an entrepreneur from a young age, you know. I tell this story a lot. I got my entrepreneur itch when I was like a kid. I was 8 years old. I went on a cruise with my grandfather and my grandmother. And I was on that cruise, and they give you these little key cards on the cruise ships, okay? And I got the key card in the cruise ship, and I would go around and buy the candy and buy the souvenirs for all my friends that were on the boat, because they didn't have the little credit cards, the key cards to buy it. So what they would do is they would give me cash, add $1 or $2 onto it for my aggravation of having to buy them their stuff. And then at the end of the cruise, my grandfather got the bill, and it was like this $500 bill. And he's like, holy shit, Josh, what the hell? How did you spend all this money? And I was like, oh, no, it's okay, Papa. And I pulled out the wad of cash that I had from all the friends, and it was like $750. And he was like, holy cow, son. He was like, you are an entrepreneur, you know? So that is like, I think what got me, you know, started was at a very early age. I learned how to capitalize and make money on other people's money. And now I use OPM, other people's money, all day long. Yeah. So, well, and there's that desire I feel that we all have in us. And a lot of people, though, they get scared out of it. Yeah. They get scared out of the pursuit of it. They get scared out of the realization of it.
Well,
talk to me a little bit about where maybe that drive comes from.
Well, I think too that most people, you know, they have a little success, and then all of a sudden they get some failure, or maybe it's big failure. Maybe they lose money or whatever it may be, and then they stop. You know, I think that's where most people, if they just kept going, would realize their true potential. But most people will just stop and pivot and go back to security. And that's where I feel like you can grow the most, is if you could, you know, really fight through that and just get to the other side, because, you know, the bad times don't last, you know, the good times don't last either, you know, but the bad times also don't last. So if you can get to the other side, and the reason why I'm saying this is because I've been there, you know, I've gone through it. I lost $1 million, you know, so, but that happens. And Kyle say this all the time, you know, that if you're swinging for the fences, you're going to strike out. You're going to hit a strikeout. He's like, the key is to have more home runs and more base hits than strikeouts. And that's what we're doing, you know? So, you know, we've got 6 deals now, you know? So yeah, we had 1 go bad out of 6. Whoop-de-doo. Now, looking back on the cash flow, okay, yeah, we lost $1 million, but if I wouldn't have lost that $1 million, I would have never made the multi 7 figures from the next deal that I had, because I was looking for the next deal aggressively because the second one failed, So everything happens for a reason. And as long as you're able to get through those tumultuous times and you're able to kind of push through it, because, and look, I used to think that was all guru speak, all back then, like, oh man, these guys don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's because I never went through it myself. I went through it myself, and I pushed and pushed and pushed, and I got through the other side, and thank God I did. I'm glad I didn't throw in the towel and just say, F it, I'm going to go work for somebody else, so.
Well, that retreat to safety.
Exactly.
Keeps so many people from doing what they could be doing.
100%. Yep.
Yeah. There's also the bit of an inertia where, it takes something to get the ball moving, it's really easy just to stay put. Even as good as this event is, it's still easy to leave this event, go right back to your world, and not move forward, not implement.
Man, I see people all the time go to real estate events, go to conferences, they get rah-rah'd and hoorooed, and they get all excited, or they get loaded with information. And then all of a sudden they're like, yes, I'm going to go buy a deal. I'm going on biz buy sell. I'm going to go network with brokers. We're going to go start underwriting deals. We're going to use the buy box. We're going to do all the things. We're going to do the money math. They're going to do it all. And then they get home, and then life happens. They're thrusted back into life. And that is where most people fail, is that they can't actually compartmentalize and say, no, hold on, life. I'm pushing you to the side for a minute because I'm focused on getting this done. And if people locked in and just said, no, this is my target, this is what I'm going to do, and locked in on it, they would actually probably hit the goal. Problem is, life gets in the way. Kids get sick. You have weddings. You have, as Kyle says, football games. Everybody wants to drink and party. And there's 1,000 different things that'll pull you out of that. So for anybody that watches this, and if you go to a conference, you come to one of Kyle's events, you're going to get overloaded with information. You're going to get all the things necessary you need, and you're going to have the mentorship, and you're going to have the kick in the ass to get you there. But at the end of the day, if you let life control you, you will never ever do a deal. And so, my message is basically, to utilize all the information, all the people, all the networks, all the connections, but they can only get you so far. You have to do the work.
Right. And that goes back to really, there's two things that I think moments in life that will get people to take action. One, they think, aha. Mm-hmm. Two, they think, oh no. So which is it for you? What's the driving factor? Was it the aha, I'm going to get it, or the oh no, what if I don't?
So when I first got started, it was oh no. Everything was oh no. I was living in a fear-based mindset. I was looking at deals and scared to do deals, scared to take risks. And then now I've kind of shifted and pivoted into what I call creation mode. I am now in creation mode, so I'm not in that scarcity survival mode. Where I don't want to lose it. I made it, I don't want to lose it. Now it's more like I made it, I want to get more. I want to keep going to create more. We have now like 156 employees over 4 states, and so the impact that I see, on being able to help these families, create a life for themselves, give them some safety and security. And then also at the same time, we're giving people within our organizations opportunities that they wouldn't have ever gotten before. That lights me up. That gets me excited. But I would have never have done that had I been in that fear-based survival mode. I would have been, let's hoard it all. Let's hold on to it. I don't want to share it with anyone else because I may lose it. A completely different mindset now. Now it's how much can we give away to everyone else so that they can help us reach the goals that we want to get. And my goal was, I made this goal up in the summer of 2023, is that in the next 4 years, I wanted to get to 10 companies or $10 million in net revenue. We're at almost 3.5 right now. So we're getting there. We're at 6 companies. So we're getting close, so we're almost halfway there. If we get the Chicago deal, we'll be halfway there. And so that's where we're at.
I can feel this incredible focus coming off of you.
Yeah. I
heard it when you were talking in the room, and I hear it now.
I'm locked in, man.
Where does that come from? Is that natural? Is that earned? Is it the process? What
I think it's experience builds confidence, right? I am so confident in what I do. Like Kyle says, put me in a chopper, drop me off in Austin, Texas. I'll do this exact same thing. I feel that same confidence he has. Put me in a chopper, drop me off wherever you want to drop me off at. I'll go do my thing. I'll go raise the money. I'll go find a deal. I'll find a deal that fits the buy box, raise it. execute, operate it, get the right people in place, double it in 12 to 24 months, and then add it into my portfolio, and then go do it again. And that's been my process. That's what I've done. I found what I do is we find good companies and we make them great. So we're not looking for companies that are like rehabs, like in the real estate space. We're not looking to go overhaul stuff. We're looking for companies that are just lacking certain things, certain areas, mom and pops. They don't have technology and they're not utilizing it. And we can come in and utilize our team and our people and make the company great.
And that's part of the buy box too, right? I mean, everything that goes back to the focus. You're looking for something specific. Oh, you find it. Imagine that.
Yeah.
If you're looking for trouble, you're going to find trouble.
100%. I had a friend of mine tell me the other day, he was like, he did like an exercise where he was like, I'm going to look for nickels on the ground. And he was like, I'm going to find me a nickel. And so now he was locked in. Every time he was walking, he was looking for a nickel. Well, do you know what? Every time he was walking, he would like find a nickel, like almost every day. But it's because he was like locked in and looking for it. Most people are like locked in on like, I'm looking for, I'm not looking for a deal. So what's going to happen? You're not going to find a deal. But if you're always, if you're always looking at deals with a fear-based mindset of what can go wrong, how, nothing's going to go right. You're never going to be able to raise the capital, have imposter syndrome, all these things that he talks about, you're never going to do a deal. But if you change that mindset and you come in with it where, you're coming in with more of a creation mode mindset and you're thinking positive and you're following his steps, you're following, the framework, you really can't go wrong because you have a group of people around you that are all doing the same thing. They're all going through the same problems, the same motions. And I think, for anyone else that's looking, maybe even join his program, like, I'd do it in a heartbeat, the problem is that most people are just, again, like I said, they're just so fear driven. They don't want to take any chances, but this is an investment. You'll go invest in a condo on the beach. That's going to be could be an unsafe investment. You could lose tenants, et cetera. This is almost damn near guaranteed if you follow the steps, so invest in yourself.
Absolutely.
Can't lose.
Second to last question.
Yeah.
What are you doing this for? Is it a legacy? Are there people? Is it the drive? What is it?
When I first got started, I didn't know. I had no idea. Now, as I'm getting a little bit older, I'm starting to. I've acquired a couple of businesses now. I feel like I'm starting to get a little of a footing. And what drives me and what excites me every day is, I think, the motivation. I was telling somebody this the other day that I could have been a football coach. I feel like I'm starting to find my purpose, and it's in motivating other people. So like our teams, right? We have a ton of employees across the country, and being able to motivate them, like through our text messaging and through like our emails and like we do our Zoom calls and like just being able to motivate them and incentivize them to get them to reach the goals that we want. And there's team members, man, that like sometimes I'm on their ass and they're like, why is Josh on me so hard? And it's because I know they can do so much more. And so what I'm starting to find is my passion is bringing out the best in people. And like, I see it, like I live and breathe it. Like I wake up and do it. So like legacy, cash flow, all that stuff, it's great. But I think I found a true passion of what I really enjoy. Now the cash flow is just like, for what we call in Louisiana, it's called lagniappe. It's just extra, so yeah.
I lied. I got two more questions. Well, one more than the last one. You've made a health transformation through this process, right?
Oh yeah.
And it's part of the freedom, part of the by design, part of not living in default, not playing on the rat race. What has this process?
So I'm gonna say this one for Pat Hilton because I did a reel about this and it was pretty funny. He loves it the way I said it. But I said in the reel that I'm like big into cold plunging. I love cold plunging. But I said in the reel I didn't cold plunge when I was broke, and it's a true statement. When I was broke, I didn't have any money. I didn't have time to invest in myself. I didn't have time to work on myself and my body and my habits. And I know people say, oh man, you don't need money to go invest in yourself. I call bullshit, because at the end of the day, all I was worried about was providing for my family and giving them safety and security through the financial means necessary. I didn't care about me. I didn't care about making my body better. All I cared about was making sure that they were good. And so once I got that laid out, they're good. They're happy, they're healthy, they're safe, they have money, we're good there in that aspect. I was able then to focus on me and work on myself and get me right. And and they do say, man, when the plane's going down, when the oxygen comes down, you got to put your mask on first. I feel like I'm putting my mask on finally now, and so I feel like if something does happen, I'm able to help and provide. But before, I was in a place where, man, if the plane was going down, I don't know if I would have been able to save the ship because I wasn't right. So I was just kind of getting by, just floating along through the air. And, but now that we have the cash flow, we have the businesses, we have the income, we're able to weather some storms, so, and then also at the same time, provide an incredible health transformation. I lost 75 pounds in the past year. And, I'm very proud of that. I do cold plunging every day. I do a sauna. I do, intermittent fasting. I do, all kinds of stuff, man. I work out 3 days a week. I'm doing all that stuff, so doing peptides, doing the whole thing. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Last one.
Yep.
If you have a message for Kyle, that's Kyle. He's in the camera.
Okay.
Say something to Kyle from your heart.
Oh man. So, Kyle, you have been a tremendous mentor. Now you're an incredible friend. I look back, going through COVID and thinking to myself, like, there's no way the success that I had today, I would have never have imagined what we've done and what we've been able to accomplish. So, I give it all to you, man. I tell everybody about you, and you are one of a kind, man. So, and by the way, thank you for this minty green Rolex here. Love it. Thank you again.
You've become his peer.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, he was mentoring you, and now you're doing what he's doing in terms of you guys are buying these businesses, doing
he says that, but like, I don't even believe that to myself. I don't even believe that yet, so.
And I'm not talking about what your teacher, I just mean like he imparted on you. Yeah. And he's authentic in what he's doing, exactly what he teaches. Yeah. You guys go out and do it too. And then he's still the mentor. He's built an incredible team. But he empowered you now to, you're hooked because you want to be.
Correct. I have that confidence, because he's given me the ability to have the experience, If I didn't have the experience through him, I wouldn't have the confidence. Now I'm able to go out and do what I do because of him. He imparted the confidence. So,
love that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Awesome. Absolutely.